Hello there, Liverpool fans. Back with the end of season review, basically. Yeah, so we finished the season last weekend on Sunday, the 12th of May, and we finished the final game with a 2-0 victory over Wolves, hoping that it would be enough, basically, to give Liverpool the title, to win us the league title. But we were happy for about 11 minutes, 10 or 11 minutes, when City fell behind to Brighton, and then I think Liverpool were already 1-0 up at the time with Mane's goal. And by the time we celebrated and we started to become happy, we got the news that City had already equalised within a minute or so, 90 seconds or whatever it was. And then, of course, they got the second goal before half-time to make it 2-1. And from that point on, you knew that Brighton wouldn't get back into the game. There's no chance because they don't have anything to play for. And the fact that they're playing Man City, who are going for the title, you can't see City, throwing it away after 2-1. So, yeah, we went on to win the game 2-0 in a quite, the second half was a bit flat, the atmosphere, because knowing what's happening in the Brighton game with Man City, the fans sort of began to realise that it's not going to happen. We're not going to win the league. Basically, we're going to end up runners up. So yeah, I mean, from August until May, if we're to review the season, it has been an outstanding season from Liverpool. It really has. I mean, in August, I had no idea that Liverpool would be challenging, would basically push Man City to the final day, the final minutes of the season for the title. And yeah, I mean, I made videos previously during the season saying, what we're missing, and in certain games that we weren't able to get over the line. For instance, the Leicester draw at Anfield, and the game against West Ham in London at the London Stadium, where we should have picked up 3 points, because I had a sense, I knew that these were going to be the games that let us down at the end of the season. You can never foretell what's going to happen in a season. You can never say, oh, we're going to go on a 15-match unbeaten run, a 20-match unbeaten run. But I had the feeling that Liverpool, were going to win the majority of the games they play this season. So dropping points to those teams at that critical moment in the season, vital moment of the season, really just allowed City to come back into the title race, because I think it was at the end of January they were already giving up. City, basically, if they lost to Newcastle and then the next day we had to play Leicester, so if we had won that game against Leicester, the points gap would have been 7 again, and I think that would have been the final nail in the coffin for City. I don't think they could have recovered psychologically from that blow. And seeing that we drew the game, and then I think the next game we drew as well against West Ham, so that's 2 points. That's 4 points dropped in 2 matches, and City won their games and they started to close the gap. And going into the Everton game, the derby game at Goodison Park. Yeah, so that basically caught us up, and we started to drop these points to teams that we should have been beating. Even Everton. I mean, Everton, of course, they're going to be up for the derby. They're going to be challenging Liverpool. They're going to try and beat us, try and turn us over. But the difference in quality is still quite large between Liverpool and Everton, and we should have tried our best. We should have tried everything to get the 3 points, but we didn't turn up on the day. We didn't perform, and Salah missed, I think, a couple of sitters, 2 or 3 good chances to give us the lead in those games. And inevitably, what happens when you're playing such a strong team as Man City, such a team that has already won the title last season with a record points total, and they want to win back-to-back leagues, and we just gave them impetus. We gave them belief to come back and overtake us in the title race. And yeah, so it really is disappointing to see throughout the entire season what we've achieved, the amount of points that we've picked up, the amount of victories, the number of goals that we've scored. and everything really. The amount of clean sheets that we've kept, and to still think that Liverpool have ended up second place again. It's just bloody madness. I mean, 97 points in any other season, apart from this season, would have been enough for us to win the title with probably a 15, 20 point gap over the second place team. So just imagine the disappointment in the Liverpool fan base. I mean, we try to put on a brave face. We try to say that we're not, we're still making progress. We're doing well. We're doing this, we're doing that. But it's still very disappointing because we may not get this chance again next season. Some of our fans need to realise, our fan base, that, if you don't take your chance while it's there, you may end up regretting it for a long time. You may end up waiting for a long time to see the same kind of success again, the same kind of amount of victories, amount of points amassed in a season. Because from all the sources that we're reading and everything in the newspapers and everything going on in the internet, we can see that City are going to spend again. Man United are going to spend again. Everybody, the teams that were shit this season. Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham probably will spend to buy a few players as well. So it's not going to become any easier for Liverpool next season. And as a Liverpool fan, I'm frightened that we may lose some of our key players, because there's news coming out yesterday, I think, that PSG are after Roberto Firmino now. So that's all we need. There's certain links with Mane maybe, leaving to join Real Madrid or Barcelona. And now we're hearing stories and, gossip, basically, that Firmino may be bought by a PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. So we can't afford to lose these two players. These are very good players, very important players for Liverpool over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Mane and Firmino have been brilliant, along with Salah, but they were here before Salah. Firmino and Mane were here before Salah, and they've made us much better as a team, much stronger, much more lethal going forwards. And I can't even think about it. It dreads me to. I feel very bad when I think about if Firmino and Mane leave the club, then that really leaves us in a very difficult position. Where are we going to find similar players of the same quality to replace them? Even Salah. I mean, God forbid if Salah leaves, that's 22 goals this season, along with 44 last. So the man has scored 66 goals in 2 seasons for Liverpool, and he's had so many assists as well. Just imagine, the massive gap that it will leave in the team in Liverpool. So we need to look at buying a couple of players. I feel like a striker, an attacking midfielder, and probably another centre-back in the defence next to Van Dijk, because Matip had a very good season this year, but there's no guarantee that he will be able to put up the same performance level next year, because previous to this season, he wasn't really that good, Matip, in the 16, 17, 18, he wasn't all that good, really. And he's a very assured centre-back if he plays to that level, but there's no guarantee. And with Joe Gomez, we all know about his injury problems. He's a very good young talent, a very good prospect for the future of Liverpool Football Club, but it's just his injury record. He's always prone to pick up injuries, to pick up knocks, and then he's out for a month or 2 months, and we can't afford to wait for players to recover and then come back again, because it could be over. The season could be over by the time they recover. So especially now with Man City, the amount of points that they've got in 2 seasons, they've amassed 198 points in 2 seasons. That's nearly perfect season, man. 2 perfect seasons, and it's all down to the money, of course. We know why City are successful, even their own fan base know, and the fact that they're now being investigated by UEFA for financial fair play irregularities and wrongdoings in their financial department. So we know why Man City are successful, why they're starting to win trophies, but it's still annoying, man, because we had the chance this year. We really did. If we're just in that period in January, at the end of January, February, if we had taken the points of the teams that we should have beaten, we would have been comfortable going into the final 2 or 3 months with a 7 or even a 10-point gap over City. And the fact that they were still in the FA Cup, the Champions League, would have played on their minds. They would have started to drop points, definitely, because psychologically they would have felt that they can't catch Liverpool anymore. You know, whatever they do, they can't catch us up. And I even said at the beginning of January, you know, after the City game, that we needed to win in the FA Cup. We needed to get something from the Etihad, just for the morale, just for the psychological edge over City. And that, you know, we may be disappointed in come May, and it's coming to fruition, hasn't it? I didn't want to be negative or pessimistic, but as a you know, Liverpool fan of 31 years, I've seen all these things happen in the past. I've seen these kind of seasons where they were so positive up until a certain point, and then we started to drop points, and then we would, you know, fall down the table and end up finishing third or fourth, or even, you know, out of the Champions League, fifth or sixth. So yeah, and we didn't really drop off. You know, after the draws, we started to win again. We won the games, but it's too late, because you've given the impetus to Man City. I said it after the Man City game at the Etihad. We gave them belief. If we had won that game, all belief would have been taken away from Man City. All confidence, all the joy for the remaining games in the season would have evaporated with that game. Their hopes would have been finished, dashed, you know. And yeah, so it's very disappointing, Liverpool fans, to think that we've picked up so many points in this season. You know, the record amount of points in a Premier League, in a league season, let alone the Premier League, and we end up empty-handed again. We don't win the league. So what can you do? I mean, we've still got the European Cup, thankfully, to look forward to, the European Cup final against Tottenham. But we mustn't be under any illusions that it's just going to be a walkover for Liverpool. It's not going to be a walkover. And Tottenham proved at Anfield that they can play. If you allow them to play, they play. So we better be careful in that game. Klopp needs to pick the best possible midfield combination to combat Tottenham, because if we get overrun in the midfield again in a final, and after this, you know, season where we finished the league second, the disappointment is still there with the players. They will want to win the European Cup, of course. They're going to have the energy, they're going to have the motivation, the confidence to go out and win it. But still, we need to be careful, because Tottenham have good players all over the pitch, and you know, we're playing in Madrid, we're playing in another stadium, so it's a neutral venue, basically. So it's going to be, we won't have any kind of advantage over Tottenham, basically. So yeah, we need to go there with the mindset that we're going to win the game. We're going to take that trophy and win it for a 6th time, because that's all we've got left in the season. It's a massive trophy. Don't get me wrong, if we win it, I think we would have had a probably better season than Man City, because Man City have won the League Cup and they've won the league title by only 1 point above Liverpool. So they can't really say that they're better than Liverpool. I don't think that they are better than Liverpool. We let ourselves down with those draws, as I said before. The Leicester City and West Ham United games. We should have got, you know, 6 points out of the 2 games rather than 2 points. And that would have been the difference. We would have won the league if we'd taken maximum points from those 2 games. We would have ended up winning the league now. So yeah, if we win the Champions League trophy, I think we've had a better season, really, because it's the biggest trophy in European football. I think it's bigger than the Premier League title, because you win the title to take part in European competition the next season. This is the whole point of being champions now. You know, and you know, if you win the major prize in European football, the biggest trophy of them all, the Champions League, then I think it's a bigger success than winning the league. It really is, and it will give us brilliant confidence going into next season, and also seeing that we've actually achieved something. You know, the season hasn't just been, you know, nearly men again. We've actually achieved something. We've won a piece of silverware. We've won a trophy. That will give the players even more confidence, belief for next season to go again, to try and win the league title. But it's all about Klopp, and it's all about his selection for the first 11. He needs to play Fabinho, and in my opinion, he needs to play Shaqiri, because, you know, the midfield of Henderson, Wijnaldum and Milner is going to get tired. they're going to get overrun, as we saw in the game at Anfield. The 2-1 victory where we scored that fortunate winner in the 92nd minute. It was an own goal, really, from Alderweireld, which came off the goalkeeper, Lloris, in front of him, and he wasn't able to clear the ball, and he put it into the back of the net. So if it wasn't for that moment, I think Tottenham probably were the better team in the second half. You have to admit, as Liverpool fans, they played the better football. They played the better controlling game in midfield and really bossed it, you know. After about the 60th minute, they were on top until probably the 80th minute, a 20-minute spell. 85th minute, they were the better team. We have to admit it. So it's not going to be easy, Liverpool, especially if Harry Kane is back again. He will cause us problems up front, Kane. So we need to mark him well. I'm very confident of our defence because we have a solid defence. We have a very good goalkeeper in Alisson Becker. So defensively, we're very solid. We're very good this season. But the key area on the pitch is going to be the midfield battle. We need to make sure that we win it this time. If we can win the midfield battle, we'll beat Tottenham. No, I don't see Tottenham being able to, you know, win against Liverpool unless there's some kind of, you know, unfortunate situation, some kind of unluckiness, and you know, a penalty or something like that. God forbid, a free kick. So with the players we've got going forwards, you know, Mane, Salah, and Firmino, and hopefully Firmino is fit by the final. They're saying that he will be ready. He'll be, you know, up to scratch by that point. So hopefully that's the case and he does recover because we really need him in that game against Tottenham. So I'm thinking of a midfield trio of Fabinho, Shaqiri, and probably Wijnaldum, I'd say, because Milner and Henderson, although Henderson had, you know, a few good games towards the end of the season, generally he hasn't been good enough in the season, I don't feel. You know, some of our fan base get overexcited with Henderson. They get, you know, as soon as he has a good performance, they start to praise him to the sky. And you need to do it week in, week out, you know. You can't just have a couple of good games. Gerrard would run the game for Liverpool virtually the entire season. That's what you call a captain. I'm not saying that Henderson is not a good captain. Maybe he is. Maybe he's got the experience. He's got the know-how to be a captain. But on the pitch, I feel that he doesn't have enough quality at Liverpool to become, you know, a great like Gerrard was. He's not a great, is he? You can't, when you look back on his career, you can't say that Henderson was a great player at Liverpool. He wasn't. He never has been. Since the, you know, the 13-14 season, he had a very good season. And we nearly won the title again, losing out by 2 points to Man City in that great season. So for me, he's not a great midfielder, really. Milner is good, but he's starting to run out of steam as well. He's starting to become tired, fatigued. So we cannot risk playing these players in the final against a team like Tottenham, who are young. They have a young, talented team, Tottenham. Fast players. You know, the likes of Ali, the likes of Eriksen, you know, Mora, Son Heung-min, and even Harry Kane if he comes back. It's a very fast team. So we need to combat that. You know, we need to have athleticism. We need to have pace in that game to be able to cope with their dangers, the dangers that they will cause Liverpool, the situations that will occur. So for me, as I said before, Fabinho, Shaqiri, and probably Wijnaldum in that midfield, and also the fact that Wijnaldum has confidence from the semi-final, having scored 2 very important goals against Barcelona that ended up knocking them out of the competition altogether, along with Divock Origi. But the same goes with Origi. The same what I said about the Henderson situation. He's not consistent. You know, if you put him in, let's say, 20-25 games, I don't think that he can perform to the top level. This year, he had a very good impact when he was brought on as a substitute. For instance, in the Newcastle game or in the Everton game, he scored 2 winners that got us 6 points. But he's not the kind of player that will be consistent for a whole season. So we need better players in the summer, I feel. We need to get somebody like, you know, Timo Werner to come into the club, or maybe Nabil Fekir again as an attacking midfielder. Houssem Aouar, the Lyon player, the youngster. There's many players that we can buy. Julian Brandt. It's just a matter of putting the money there. And now we're starting to hear stories again that a couple of newspaper articles are reporting that FSG are not willing to spend money again in the summer. So, it's just with these people, I don't trust them at all. I mean, the fan base this season was hysterical when they bought all these players. They've done it once in 8 years. This is the first summer, last summer, that they actually spent good money on players. And they bought, 3 or 4 good, decent players for the team, for the first 11. But you need to do it consistently. You need to do it 2 or 3 seasons in a row. If we had just had 2 or 3 good transfer windows, acquiring good players, quality players, then Liverpool will win everything. I'm sure of it, because look at what we achieved this season in the league. Only 1 defeat, man, in 38 games. And a couple of draws that have let us down. Imagine if we had the cover in those games that we drew. Imagine if we had the players that could come onto the pitch and change the game for us, or could start in the first 11. We would have won it, man. We would have won the title probably 3 or 4 weeks before the end. Definitely this season. So they need to be able to buy these players now, FSG. They have no excuses. They got all the money from the Champions League, reaching the Champions League final. All the sponsorship deal monies and all the money from the Premier League as well. Premier League television rights and this and that. So there's money there. There's money there for them to spend. It's just a matter of ambition. Do they have the ambition? Do they actually want Liverpool to win something? The same with Klopp, because I'm sorry, but as a Liverpool fan, I appreciate Klopp. Don't get me wrong. I like him as a manager. I appreciate what he's done for the club since he's been appointed in 2015, October 2015. But, always being the nearly men, always being the runners-up is not good enough for Liverpool anymore, man. We need to start thinking of actually winning something. We have to start expecting to win trophies now. Look at how close we got this season to the league title. It's all about ambition. If you have the ambition, you have the desire, the passion, you can do it. You can win the title. You can win the European Cup. There's no point in saying, oh, but Man City were a great team and we did very well to keep up with them and we ended up runners-up. We weren't able to. These are excuses, in my opinion, because this has been going on for 4 years now. We lost the League Cup final. We lost the Europa League final. We lost the Champions League final. We became runners-up in the league this season. So that's four different occasions where we should have got over the line and won it. And with Klopp, he's a very good manager. He's a very good motivational manager, a charismatic manager. But he needs to have that winning instinct, that winning ability that the best managers have in the world. The likes of Shankly, the likes of Paisley, these kind of managers. Even Benitez. Benitez was able to win us the European Cup, man, in Istanbul. It was a miracle. He won us the FA Cup. We had many successful seasons with him, consistent seasons in the Champions League, getting to quarterfinals, semi-finals. So there's no point in just boasting about this season that we did very well. Yes, we did. But this needs to be happening for, 4 or 5 years in a row for us to say that we're progressing, we're developing. We keep hearing the same thing from the journalists, from the analysts online, in the newspapers. We're progressing. Yeah, we're progressing. But what have we won? Let's look at the facts. What have Liverpool Football Club won since Jurgen Klopp has been appointed manager? We haven't won anything, man. Empty-handed, There's only so many seasons you can go through and you keep making excuses, because it's not about the other teams bantering Liverpool. We don't care about that. We're used to it. We banter them as well. But it's the truth, isn't it? I mean, we haven't won anything. As a fan base, we need to see this. And we need to see what we're doing wrong. And we need to rectify it. We need to become better as a consequence. So, Klopp, this is a very important summer for Klopp. After the European Cup, hopefully we win it. And we get that confidence, we get that morale to go into next season, thinking that we can win everything, all the trophies, the league, the European Cup again, the domestic trophies, the FA Cup, the League Cup. We have to strive to win everything. We have to expect now, as Liverpool Football Club, that we're good enough. We have the squad of players. We have all the quality that we need to be successful. And even with this squad, if he's not good enough, Klopp, then it will be time for him to go. I'm sorry, because we cannot be offering this manager a new contract, man. We have to wait until after the European Cup to see what he does, what he achieves. If he wins it, then we keep Klopp. I say that he carries on, because he has actually won us trophies. He's actually made us successful. But if he's not able to win it again, God forbid, and we lose yet another European Cup final, then that's the end for me, man. Because I can't take it. Other Liverpool fans can't take it as well. We can't, you know, we can't accept being runners up in everything, man. It's not good enough, you know. Manchester City were nowhere 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Look at what they're doing now. They're winning everything. All right, they've got the money, they've got the financial backing, but they've also built an outstanding team, an outstanding squad that is able to win for many years. You know, I despise of them. I hate them. And they're trying to become rivals with Liverpool, which they're not. They cannot be rivals with Liverpool. We've got 18 league titles, they've got 6. We've got 5 European Cups, they've got none. So you can't be rivals with Liverpool Football Club at the moment. But the way things are going, in 10 years' time, 15 years' time, they could have another, you know, they could have another 5 league titles. They could probably have a couple of European trophies to go with it. That's if they don't get banned from the Champions League. But success breeds success. The more you win, it just makes you more hungry, more. It gives you the desire to go on and win even more trophies, to become even more successful. You want perfection. You want to be the best in the world, not just in England, but the best in the world, in Europe. So that's what they're going to strive for next year, City. And I'm frightened with Liverpool that if we don't capitalise on a successful season and win the European Cup, and then go out in the summer and buy 2 or 3 more quality players to add to our squad, then if we lose maybe a player or 2 players, then it's going to be very hard for us next year to even get into the top 4 even. Because, as I said before, United, all these teams that had shit seasons, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, are all going to probably invest in the summer, you know. Maybe not a lot, but they're going to definitely get in a couple of good players, quality players, to make them better, stronger, you know. And people are not going to wait around for Liverpool. That's what I'm saying. And Klopp needs to take his chance now. When you've got the chance to win this trophy, the European Cup, we have to take it. We have to go out there and we have to beat Tottenham and win that trophy, because the fan base is looking happy now. They're saying progress, development. But as soon as you lose that final, God forbid, against Tottenham, it's going to be mayhem again. It's going to be a massive meltdown at Liverpool in the club. And there's going to be serious questions asked of Jurgen Klopp, because, you know, people are basically saying it now. He's not able to get over the line. He hasn't got the mentality, the winning mentality. Yes, he won a couple of Bundesliga titles. He got Borussia Dortmund to the final of the Champions League. But the Bundesliga and the Premier League, there's a massive quality gap. You know, you can't compare the 2 leagues. There's about 6 or 7 teams in the Premier League fighting out. Maybe not this season, but in the past it's always been like that. With Germany, it's always been 2 teams for about 10 years now, 10 to 15 years. So yeah, I mean, he won the titles, of course, but he needs to do it now at Liverpool. We can't keep looking into the past, Liverpool fans. We need to look at the here and now, what we're doing at the moment, the last 3 or 4 years. And when you look at the league finishes, scraping 4th place on the final day of the season, 2 years in a row, and then we become runners-up this season, when really we should have won the title. It's the truth, really. We can't deny it. We should have won it this year. It was a great chance to win it. And in that period, I think Klopp made major mistakes in his selection, team selections and tactics. He played too pragmatic, too conservative. He should have played more attacking football, and we would have beat both Leicester City and West Ham. So yeah, he needs to win something. That's it, basically. Silverware. A team like Liverpool is only analysing what they win, the success that you achieve. You know, finishing 2nd or finishing 4th, you can't say that that's progress for Liverpool. It's not. You know, we're only kidding ourselves if we say that. Deep down, we know that it's not progress. There's no difference between finishing 2nd and 4th, really, because they're both in the Champions League, aren't they? They're both qualified for the Champions League automatically. So there's no difference, really, in my book. The only difference is that we pushed Man City right to the final game, the final minutes of the final game of the season. But we left it too late, because they always had a game in hand, didn't they? They always had that key game in hand, and they won 13 or 14 games on the bounce to win the title, man. So this is the kind of team that we're challenging. This is the kind of team that we're going to be meeting next season again, trying to take the title off them. So we have to plan accordingly. We have to plan according to their quality, to their strengths, and try to become even better next season, even stronger in every department on the pitch, because you need cover, man. It's a long marathon, 38 games, plus the Champions League, plus the domestic trophies. You need to have a big squad full of quality players. You know, you can't be there can't be a massive drop off from the first 11 to the substitutes, because if that's the case, then you're never going to be successful. You're never going to win anything. You know, if you don't have the out and out quality that can replace Mane, Salah, Firmino, or midfielders, for instance, Fabinho, Keita, Shaqiri, we have a very good midfield. Defensively, we're a bit short. We need another defender, I feel, because we can't keep players like bloody Lovren and Mignolet in the team. Come on, we need to sell these players, right? Sturridge needs to be shipped out as well. He scored a couple of goals, but his season has been disappointing, in my opinion. He hasn't proved himself at all, and he's not fit as well. No matter what you say, he's not fit. He's not fast enough anymore to play in the Premier League. He's not up to scratch in this team, and Origi did his best, but Origi, as I said before, he's not a consistent player. You can't trust him over a long period of time. You know, if say for instance something happens to our front players and we need to put somebody in, you can't say that Origi's going to play to a top level, a top standard all the games, is he? We can't trust him fully. So we have some youngsters, of course. You know, Ryan Brewster, Harry Wilson, they could come into the team, but the fact that Harry Wilson's team has just got into the final, the Championship playoff final, and if they end up coming into the Premier League, then he may stay there for another year. So we won't be able to use Harry Wilson next season in the team. And Ryan Brewster is like 17, 18 years old, and how can you put him into a Premier League team, really? I mean, they say that he's a good young talent, a very good prospect, but to play in the Premier League, you need to develop first. You need to become a better player. You need to prove yourself, let's say, in a Championship team, and he hasn't done that yet. So, and plus the fact that he's only just come back from a massive injury problem. So, yeah, all these things to think about, Liverpool fans. Yeah, that's the end of the video, basically. We've had a very good season, a very successful season, in my opinion, but we haven't won the league. So I'm still very disappointed, you know, with the way that we ended up giving Manchester City the opportunity to overtake us again and to win it on the final day. Yeah, so I want to see these changes in the summer. Hopefully, FSG actually back Klopp again. They give him the money to go out and buy, 2 or 3 more good players, brilliant players that we can put straight into the first 11. And then next season, Liverpool will be on an entirely different level. I think we may even pass this season, because if we can do it with this team this season, imagine if we had a couple of players what we can achieve next season. You know, it's going to be a very long, hard season again, but when you have a good squad, a very strong squad, you can achieve everything. You can win a lot of trophies. So that's it, Liverpool fans. Thank you again. This is my end of season review for Liverpool Football Club. We go into the European Cup final with renewed confidence, with belief, with hunger to go out and win that trophy, win it for the 6th time, and bring it back to Liverpool, bring it back to Anfield, and we would have had a brilliant season. It will just be the cherry on the cake, basically. It will just make our season become successful, become a brilliant season, rather than a season where we were very near but not able to go over the line again. So we want to be winning things now. We want to be lifting trophies. And as I said, Klopp is a very good manager. I believe in Klopp, but he needs to get away from this, the way that he talks sometimes, as if Liverpool should not be expecting to win the league. No, you should be expecting to win the league. Even managers before Klopp should have expected to win the league. Liverpool has always been successful in the league, the Championship. So we always expected to win the title every year in the past. And it hasn't changed now. We still expect Liverpool to win it. We need to do it, because if we don't stop City now, then it's just going to become harder for the future. It's going to become harder. In fact, it's going to become impossible, because if they don't actually get a transfer ban and they're not deducted points, or they're not thrown out of the Champions League, then realistically, can you see anybody catching them in the Premier League? The other teams are shit. The teams below Liverpool, you know, the rest of the top six, the apparent top six, they're going to take years to get back up to a good level. These teams, maybe a couple of years at least, if they don't invest properly, they don't buy the good players. It's going to take them years to even get near to Liverpool and Man City. But we have a chance now to invest again this summer and to become even better than we were this year. So we need to take advantage and we need to do it. You know, John Henry and his wife were at the game, the final game of the season. They're probably going to be at the Champions League final in Madrid. So Klopp just needs to talk to them. He needs to have a meeting with them and tell them, we're very close now to the success. We just need a couple of players and that's it. We've completed the team. And with Naby Keita coming back next season, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, fitter and fresher to go again, then we will have a very good squad, man, a very good team to win everything, to challenge for all the trophies next year. So that's it, Liverpool fans. Thank you for, thank you for listening to me throughout the season, watching my videos. It's been very much appreciated from fellow Reds around the world, wherever you are, and it's been a very good season. We've had some very good moments, some very exciting moments. You know, the Origi 96th-minute winner against Everton, the unbelievable comeback against Barcelona 4-0. You know, all the other games that we've had, and the Tottenham victory. You know, the Chelsea victory, where Salah scored that unbelievable goal from 30 yards into the top corner. So we've had some outstanding victories, brilliant matches, but finishing second is always disappointing for me, man. I really got my hopes up in the the March, April time. I really expected Liverpool to actually push on and win it. And when we dropped points against Everton and Man United, I had a sense, I had a feeling that City would punish us, because they're not gonna allow you to get away with it, dropping points, especially in that crucial period of the season. And unfortunately, it happened, didn't it, in the end? And they went on to win it by 1 point. So next season, we have to batter them. We have to make sure that we're on their, we're breathing down their necks again. And we're going to win it this time. We're going to actually take the title from them. And to do that, we just need a couple of more players. A centre-back, an attacking midfielder, and probably a striker, a backup striker. 2 or 3 players at the most. And we can do that. We've got the power now. We've got the financial power. We've got the money coming in from many sources. So they can't have any excuses, FSG. They need to back the manager, Klopp. And Klopp himself needs to expect to buy players. Don't be telling us that this team is good enough, that you don't need anybody. You do. You need backup in positions, Klopp, man. Look, you sent Klein away on loan, and then there's no one to replace him. There's no one to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold, sorry, because you sent Klein away, and in left back as well. God forbid, if anything happens to Robertson, we have to rely on bloody Moreno again. And that's a disaster, man. We can't do that shit, The goalkeeping department, if something happens to Alisson, who's the backup? Mignolet. And the other goalkeeper, the youngster, Kelleher, or whatever it is. You can't be putting these players into the team, man, the first 11. They're not at the required level, the required quality. They can't do it, So also, I would definitely recall Marco Grujic, who's had a great season at Hertha Berlin. We need to recall him, get him back into the team, into pre-season training, and Klopp needs to use him next year. I'd definitely put him into the team, because the man is a giant. He's a strong player in midfield, and he's athletic. He's not a slow player. He's quite fast, and he's very dangerous from set pieces, and he's got a decent passing range, a decent midfielder. We need to have these players in the team. Even Ryan Kent, who plays for Rangers on loan, he's a very good winger, man. A very tricky, very skillful player that we could use in vital games, or even as an impact substitute in the team. So Klopp needs to think about these issues and then act accordingly and see what he does next season. That's it, Liverpool fans. Thank you again. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Make your comments in the comment section below. It's very much appreciated from all Liverpool fans around the world. And I bid you farewell until next season. Of course, we've got the Champions League final coming up on the 1st of June, but I don't know if I'll be making a video. Maybe during the summer months, but I don't know. I'll see how it goes. And if I've got the time, if I've got the it depends on the result, basically. If we win that game, then I'll be on cloud nine. I'll be buzzing. But if we lose, God forbid, then for me it's just going to be another very bad end to the season. And there's going to be a lot of problems with Liverpool again, basically. Let's hope it doesn't happen, man. Let's hope it doesn't happen and we win. We beat Tottenham and we lift that trophy in Madrid and bring it back to Liverpool and celebrate with the fans, man. We need to achieve something now. It's been far too long. Far too long. 6 years, 7 years is too long for Liverpool not winning anything. And we've had the opportunities. We just haven't been able to get over the line. We've got to finals. We've got to the top of the league, but we haven't been able to just go that extra mile and finish it off. You know, take the trophy. So that's it, Liverpool fans. See you later on. Take care of yourselves and get ready for the Champions League final. It should be a very good game, and hopefully ends up with a Liverpool victory and we win the European Cup for a 6th time to confirm that we are the best team from England in European competition, and we always have been. So take care, Liverpool fans, and hope to speak to you probably in the summer about the transfer news and this and that that's going to be happening during the summer months. Bye bye.